Hot Girls Eat Carbs. I'm your host, Brittany McChrystal, and this is your safe space for all things wellness, self-love, and sustainable weight loss. I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. I honestly wouldn't be here without you guys, and if you do enjoy this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could like and share this podcast with your friends, as it really helps me as I'm a new podcast, so that gets this show out to new listeners. So if you don't know me and this is your first time tuning in, I spent years stuck in the toxic diet cycles, lacking confidence, and forever starting over every Monday. But after plenty of tears, setbacks, challenges, and low-key mental breakdowns, I finally found what actually works, and I was able to drop 25 kgs while still eating the foods that I love and enjoying the process. So I was finally able to make it a lifestyle rather than living on a life of lettuce and tears. So last week, we talked about why you might not be losing weight, even when you think you might be doing everything right. And one of the biggest reasons, you actually might be eating too little. Now, before you throw your hands up and you're like, come on, Britt, I know this sounds completely backwards. But we've been told for so long that weight loss is just about eating less and moving more. But what if I told you that eating more could actually help you lose weight faster? And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Because if you've ever thought, I'm barely eating anything, and why am I not losing weight? This episode is for you. Okay, so let me tell you a little story about my eating less era, because trust me, I've been there. Back when I first started trying to lose weight, I was convinced that the only way to see results was to eat as little as possible. I wasn't counting calories, but I was definitely restricting myself. And I thought I was being so healthy. My diet basically looked like this. Lemon water with chia seeds in the morning because some influencer told me that it would boost my metabolism. Then a handful of nuts because healthy fats keep you full, but also like 600 calories later. I was still hungry. Energy balls made from dates and peanut butter because they were all over Pinterest. And a sad little salad for lunch with no dressing, no carbs, just vibes and rabbit food. And dinner was usually something tiny, grilled chicken and broccoli, maybe some avocado if I was feeling a little bit wild. Let me tell you, I felt so disciplined. I thought, this is what healthy eating looks like. But then, every night, I was starving. Like I would literally sit there thinking about food while trying to fall asleep. And by the weekend, I would go completely off the rails. I'd eat an actual meal and then suddenly my body was like, yes, food, finally. And then I'd eat everything in sight. And I wasn't even feeling full, so I just kept eating. And then I felt like, I've ruined my progress. And I promised myself that I'd be stricter next week. And then I'd just repeat the cycle over and over. And the worst part, I wasn't even losing weight. I was just constantly tired, bloated, frustrated because I thought I was doing everything right. But looking back, I can see exactly what I was doing wrong. I was eating way too little and focusing on foods that were deemed healthy instead of foods that actually worked for my body. And it wasn't until I started eating more protein, more actual meals, more carbs, and more volume foods that I finally started seeing results. And that's why I wanted to make this episode, because I know so many of us are exactly where I was, thinking you're being good by eating less, but you're just making it harder on yourself. So let's talk about what's really happening when you're eating too little and why eating more might actually be the thing that gets you to your goals. Let's start where all of this comes from. We've been conditioned to believe that eating less equals better results. Diet culture has fed us the idea that smaller portions, skipping meals, and barely eating is the key to weight loss. Think about it. How many times have you seen those 1,200 calorie diet plans floating around? Or heard people say things like, I'm being so good today, I barely ate. I fell into this trap too. When I first started my weight loss journey, I thought the less I ate, the faster I'd see results. And sure, at first the scale moved, But over time, my energy plummeted, my cravings went through the roof, and I ended up overeating on the weekends because my body was like starving. Oh, and then I started eating a normal amount of food, and I bounced back way faster than you can say hello weight gain. I gained 7 kgs in 3 weeks. That was more weight than I had lost in the first place. I was so traumatized. So let's talk about what happens when you eat too little. Your metabolism slows down. Your body gets used to surviving on less, so it burns less. You lose muscle instead of fat, and less muscle means you burn fewer calories at rest. You feel tired, moody, and hungry 24/7. Ever feel like you have zero willpower? It's not you. It's actually just your body screaming for food. And the worst of all, you start seeing the weight loss plateau. You're barely eating, but you're stuck. And the only way out is to eat less and increase your activity levels, which is so not sustainable. If this sounds familiar, it's not your fault, and you're not broken. You've just been given the wrong advice. So we're going to flip the script. What if I told you that eating more could actually help you lose more fat? My one-on-one coaching clients are always so shocked when they get their meal plans and start eating the food because they're so used to doing the exact same thing. But this time, they eat more and actually see the results that they want. When you fuel your body properly, a few things happen. Your metabolism speeds up, your body gets comfortable burning more calories, and you have way more energy, which means better workouts, more movement, and more fat loss. You also feel fuller and more satisfied, so you don't binge and constantly crave snacks. I do want to touch on the role of protein and fiber in this because protein is key. If you're trying to lose weight and you're not prioritizing protein, you're just making it harder on yourself, girl. Protein keeps you full, it protects muscle, and it actually increases how many calories you burn just by digesting it. So aim for 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kg of body weight. And fiber, let me tell you, it's the real MVP. It helps with digestion, balances blood sugar, and keeps you fuller longer, so you're not reaching out for snacks every hour. And why steps and strength training is better than endless cardio. A lot of people think that they need to burn off everything they eat with cardio, but actually, strength training plus daily steps is the real secret sauce. Because the more muscle you have equals a higher metabolism, meaning you burn more calories all the time. And walking is the most underrated fat loss tool ever. It burns calories without stressing your body like excessive cardio does. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. When I first started losing weight, I just started with walking. No gym, just me and my hot girl walks. Until I felt more confident, I stepped into the gym. Okay, so let's talk about how you actually do this. How do you eat more without overdoing it? You need to find your actual calorie needs. Most women underestimate how much they should be eating. You don't need to guess. I have a free calorie calculator that you can use and I will link it in the show notes. But a simple way to test: increase your calories slightly and track your progress. If you're feeling better, stronger, and still losing fat, you were just undereating before. Increase food the right way with volume eating. Eating more doesn't mean adding random snacks. It means choosing high volume, nutrient dense foods that keep you full without overdoing on calories. Volume eating is all about maximizing food quantity without adding excess calories. By focusing on foods that are lower in calories, higher in fiber and protein, it means that you can eat more and feel satisfied and still stay in a calorie deficit. For breakfast, if you're used to having 2 slices of toast, swap out 1 for a big egg scramble with spinach, mushrooms, and a side of berries. Same calories, just way more food. And for lunch, instead of a tiny salad with just veggies, go for a huge salad with grilled chicken, roasted pumpkin, crunchy cucumbers, and a light dressing. More volume, more protein, but still low cal. Dinner, instead of small portions of rice and chicken, bulk up your meal by adding zucchini, mushrooms, or cauliflower, or any leafy greens. More food on your plate, same calorie range. Some of my favorite volume foods to add is zucchini, mushrooms, bell pepper, cabbage, spinach, or cauliflower. Some fruits are strawberries, watermelon, oranges, or fruits with high water content. And proteins are egg whites, chicken breast, shrimp, and lean ground turkey. Some carbs are higher fiber options like oats, potatoes, popcorn, chickpea, lentils, or sweet potato. When you prioritize volume, you feel like you're eating more while still staying in a calorie deficit, and it's a total game changer. And you've got to stop fearing food. If you ever thought, I need to eat as little as possible to lose weight, I need you to pause and really hear this. Your body is not working against you. It's just trying to survive. For so long, we've been conditioned to believe that eating less is always better, that smaller portions, skipping meals, and ignoring hunger is a sign of discipline. But here's the truth. When you constantly undereat, your body adapts. It doesn't know you're dieting for looks. It just thinks that you're starving yourself. And so what does it do? It slows down your metabolism to conserve energy. It holds on to fat because it doesn't know when more food is coming. And it increases cravings and hunger hormones, making it harder to stay consistent. This is why so many people feel stuck in the restrictive binge cycle. They eat super clean and restrict all week, only to find themselves starving and overeating on the weekend. It's not because you lack willpower. It's because your body is literally fighting back against the restriction. And one thing I say all the time, you've got to trust the process. Eating enough will not make you gain weight. One of the hardest mindset shifts in fat loss is learning to trust food again, to believe that eating enough won't suddenly cause weight gain. Because eating enough food supports your metabolism. It fuels your workouts and it helps you build muscle and burn more fat. And it allows you to stay consistent because you're not constantly fighting cravings. And let's be real, and what's more sustainable? Eating 1,200 calories a day and being miserable, or eating enough to feel full, have energy, and still lose fat? You've got to fuel your body so it works with you, not against you. The goal is not to eat as little as possible and hope for results. The goal is to fuel your body so it can function properly, so you can feel good, move well, lose weight without feeling exhausted 24/7. And the moment that you let go of the fear of food and you start focusing on nourishing your body instead of depriving it, that is when weight loss actually becomes effortless. So we are taking in a new mindset. More food, more energy, more fat loss, long term. Trust the process. Your body thrives when it's fueled, not starved. You don't need to earn your food. You just have to eat smart. Eating too little slows down your metabolism. It makes you feel awful, and it can actually stall your fat loss. Eating enough helps you keep muscle, feel full, and lose fat more effectively. Adding more protein, fiber, and whole foods is the key to eating more while still seeing results. So, today's takeaway: stop starving yourself and start fueling yourself. If you found this episode helpful, take a screenshot and share it on your IG stories and tag me, Brittany McChrystal. And if you're loving this podcast, please make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss the next episode. I will see you in the next one.